If you know anything about American culture, you'll know that the Super Bowl is one of the biggest events, not because everyone loves football, but because everyone loves seeing what crazy ads companies are spending $8 to $10 million to run. While you would think spending $8 million on a 30-second ad would mean that your team is working overtime to make sure it's good, we had like an unprecedented amount of like horrible ads this year. My takeaway from the Super Bowl ads is that the entire American economy is being propped up by AI, weight loss drugs, cryptocurrency, and gambling. Probably the biggest loser of this entire thing is AI.com. If you didn't know, Crypto.com CEO bought AI.com for the biggest domain sale ever, I think $70 million to offer like what Claude Coworker does essentially. And not only did they spend $70 million on the domain, $8 million on the ad, but look at just how weird and bad this ad is. The ad gives you absolutely no idea into what the service actually is, and when you go to the site AI.com, the first thing it asks for is a credit card number. I don't get what the product is or the difference between the human and AI parts, and you want my credit card without telling me what I'm buying? And as if it couldn't get worse, their site straight up just crashed. Like Cloudflare errored out with all the traffic they were getting. So not only did the majority of people not even understand what they were trying to do in the first place, but no one could even go to the site and figure it out. The CEO went on Twitter saying, "Insane traffic levels. We prepared for scale, but not this." And since then, they've just been getting clowned all over Twitter, which, let's face it, is probably the most actual exposure they're going to be getting. I'm the lead engineer at AI.com. We had 78 million to work with. 70 million went to the domain. 8 million went to the Super Bowl ad. I got the rest. The rest was $500 and a Cloudflare free tier. You would think if you're spending that kind of money, you would have something like actually good prepared, not just for the ad, but for the experience when people go to the domain. The entire point of buying the domain AI.com is to make it easy for people to visit the site. But when you're on like a quote Cloudflare free tier and you're getting like millions of viewers from the Super Bowl on your site and you can't support it, you're kind of in a tough situation when somebody asks to explain why you spent $78 million on this whole thing. But you know, it's Crypto.com, so I'm sure they don't have many money issues. And while they might have been the biggest monetary loser, you have some companies that had on paper what seemed like an amazing ad, but just completely missed the mark, like this Ring ad.
This is Milo. Pets are family. But every year, 10 million go missing. And the way we look for them hasn't changed in years. Until now. One post of a dog's photo in the Ring app starts outdoor cameras looking for a match. Search Party from Ring uses AI to help families find lost dogs. Since launch, more than a dog a day has been reunited with their family. Be a hero in your neighborhood with Search Party. Available to everyone for free right now. Join the neighborhood at ring.com.
On first glance, it sort of tugs on your heartstrings and you're like, wow, this is actually kind of a clever, amazing use of the technology. But it did not take long at all for people to start pointing out the fact that, holy shit, they want us to consent to them always watching and tracking every single thing that happens outside of our house. Y'all, we are in danger. The big theory here is that they're just using this whole like find lost puppies sad story to get your consent to always be filming and always be tracking and storing all the data on your Ring camera. And yeah, their ad was like super clear on the value they're bringing, but I don't think they expected the consumers to put two and two together, that if they are storing all your footage to look for lost puppies, well, they're now storing all your footage in total. So we're going to call that one a huge L for Amazon's Ring, but Amazon also had another huge L when it came to like Alexa. I don't know how much of you actually still use like Alexa on a day-to-day basis. It's sort of becoming like the Siri of outdated technology. But for whatever reason in their Super Bowl ad, it was essentially Chris Hemsworth dying like multiple times due to AI.
I moved your meeting, and your car will be here in 5.
Perfect.
Look at this little beauty I found in the garden.
Nice snake, Chris.
Hey, whoa, what is that?
Our new Alexa Plus.
She's not living here. That is full-on AI. One minute we're all buddies, then the next minute she's trying to kill us.
Now, Chris, how exactly would I do that?
A million different ways. Maybe I'm taking out the trash.
The door's jammed. Take a closer look while I pull up a tutorial. A little to the left.
You're a widow.
Right.
All right, what about this?
Looks like rain. Closing cover. Hold your breath, Chris. The package I sent you is here. Lowering shades. Let me light a fire.
You're crazy.
Your car's here.
I gotta go. Love you.
You seem tense. Can I book you a massage? And a cinnamon scrub?
Oh, you can do that? I do love a cinnamon scrub.
Horrible messaging. No one is gonna want Alexa with AI after this. It like boggles my mind trying to put myself in these like billion-dollar companies where they have these CMOs getting paid like millions of dollars a year to put together an $8 million Super Bowl ad. And their whole goal is to try and get people okay with having, you know, Alexa and AI in their house. And they're like, the best way to do that is have a scenario where AI inadvertently kills the homeowner in multiple like different ways. I'm sure no one was creative enough to think about all the ways that AI could absolutely like plot your downfall, but maybe we should kickstart their creative juices and give them some examples. Some of these are like more creative than that old show 1,000 Ways to Die, where people would die in the most obscure like situations possible. Now you are telling every like random person watching the Super Bowl, all the boomers that don't know anything about AI, that there is a possibility that AI will close your pool cover while you're in the pool and you can now like drown to death. Who like signed off on this stuff? And that's not even the most obscure ad we've seen. Coinbase, I guess, took the opposite direction of crypto.com, where they're like, how can we spend $8 million and make the most random ad? No one will have any idea of what we do or even understand it was us, and that will take us the least amount of time possible. Like literally the whole video is this. It's just like karaoke and then it says Coinbase at the end. I don't know if they were on like some deadline or if there was some miscommunication with like how many story points the video would take, but who is sitting there thinking like, this is what's gonna get people talking about us? Yeah, I guess we're talking about it right now because it was so bad, but are we really still stuck in 2026 on thinking like bad publicity is a good thing? By the way, for most of these bad ads, if you actually like scroll down and try to look at the comments, you can clearly see that for all the bad ones, comments are turned off. So clearly they don't want people talking about it too much. You also have companies like Genspark AI, which I don't think anyone has ever heard of before the Super Bowl.
Genspark, give me the day off. I'm skipping work today. You should too, Stu. Genspark, finish this slide deck. Now you're not working from home. Hey, you put on pants. Genspark, dial in this spreadsheet.
Done?
Circle back on out of here. Let Genspark automate your work and take a day off.
I don't know why no one told them that they're like kind of 3 years late to the party, but I guess, you know, $8 million of investor money well spent. Even the site itself is just like a carbon copy of like Gemini, ChatGPT, and Claude Cowork, like just merged all in one. And I gotta say, if their whole play was try to appeal to the boomers that don't know anything about AI and like show them what they've been missing and all the late adopters, having the exact same UI where it's just a chat input box on the homepage is not what like these boomers want. And I think the general sentiment towards AI is somewhat negative outside of like the tech ecosphere. So having it in your ad is already sort of a brave move to begin with. But for whatever reason, this vodka company didn't seem to think so and made their entire ad the like weirdest AI shit I think I've ever seen.
She's a super freak, she's super freaky. She's a super freak, very special, very special. She's super freaky.
When this aired in person, I was hanging out with a couple of friends and we literally just looked at each other like, what the fuck did we just watch? How out of touch do you have to be with consumers to make this and be like, this one slaps? $8 million? Give it to some CGI company. Let's make the most unsettling, uncanny valley shit you've ever heard of. And what's it gonna be for? For a bottle of vodka. There are also other ads like Jasmine Crockett's, who's like running for Senate or something. And she created this like really heartfelt, like Texas first ad that was meant to like appeal to everyone's heartstrings. Only to find out on the last shot, they used like a giant AI generated crowd. And that the Synth ID watermark, an invisible digital identifier used by Google to verify content created by its AI, was literally still there. And like, I get it. Her team probably wasn't like super technical, but like, $8 million $8 million and this is the best people could come up with? I feel like half the people watching here with $8 million could do better than the majority of the ads that we have seen. Now we get to the big players. I'm talking the Google, the Anthropic, and the OpenAI. First of all, Anthropic and OpenAI are sort of like the Kendrick Lamar and Drake of like the tech generation. And while OpenAI's ad was sort of like this really generic thing that I don't think really resonated with a lot of people, sort of highlights like all the manual stuff that people did throughout their lives to like learn and sort of the beauty of learning for yourselves. And then at the end, they just replace it by showing like codecs. Dude, I enjoyed the days where I would like fuck around in Terminal and make Arduinos and Raspberry Pis try to do things. And I had to like debug. And anytime I got an LED to work, it was like, wow, it's nothing like crazy, but I did that on my own. And just seeing like codecs be there to say that I now never have to do that again, and now everything I build is just going to be an AI doing it for me and there's no sense of reward anymore. Well, that hit hard. But the big reason people are talking about this is because just last week, ChatGPT announced they're going to add ads into their platform. And Anthropic, the pettiest tech company I've seen, took this as a way to like really jump on it and make a fool out of OpenAI. And they created like 3 of these videos, but this one is like my personal favorite.
So, what do you think?
Absolutely. That's such a fun and creative business idea. You've got something really special here. Getting started can feel daunting. I can make a step-by-step mini business plan. Do you want me to do that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Here's some steps you can take. 1, research. Really get to know your audience. 2, think of a catchy name and start your social presence early. 3, new businesses often struggle with cash flow, so try quick dash payday loans because girl bosses need CEO money quick. 400% APR rates may vary, possibly doubling or tripling without notice.
What?
Would you like to make a quick credit check?
What's the difference between me and you? Me and you, me and you.
All 3 of these ads are essentially just ways to make fun of OpenAI having ads and the fact that Claude will, quote, never have ads. Sam Altman even responded to this on Twitter saying the good part of Anthropic ads, they're funny and I laugh, and then just went on a whole tirade about how it's like on brand for Anthropic to double speak and use deceptive ad to critique theoretical deceptive ads that aren't real, but a Super Bowl ad is not where he would expect it, and that their mission is that everyone deserves to use AI, and how Anthropic is just catering to like the super rich people that can afford $200 a month to have things vibe coded for them. And honestly, like I want to be more on OpenAI side because generally I don't really like Anthropic at all. And I've been pretty critical of them in the past, but hey, their ads were funny. And you know, in the realm of the masses, that's sort of what matters to people. And finally, we have Google's ad. And I think this was probably the best ad in the entire Super Bowl.
That's my room?
Yeah, it's next to mine. And watch.
Wow. Can it be blue?
Yeah.
And Charlie's bed can go right there?
Here?
Yeah. Cool.
And look, here's the yard.
Oh, we could have a trampoline.
Still no.
Oh, Mom, what about your garden?
Oh, we'll play it together. Just like before.
So it'll be like our old house?
It'll be whatever we want it to be.
Let's go.
When I first heard AI came onto the scene, these were the use cases I thought would be really cool, especially for image generation. And we all know Google has the best image generation when it comes to AI, so it makes sense that they sort of tried to funnel people in on that lane. But the example itself was just like super wholesome and super interesting. Like if I had kids, I would probably want to do something like that myself. Feels like they tapped into the consumer and understood that the point they're trying to get across to people that might be really adverse to AI is that AI is a tool that you use to improve your quality of life. It's something you use alongside it. It's not something that completely replaces you. It's just like a cool little thing that's on the side that enriches your experience with your family. And I don't know where all the other AI companies were going, but this ad actually hit the mark. And when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is like a really impressive ad. Cannot believe that number one, Google caught up in the whole AI wars. And number two, that they're actually sort of the company I'm like internally rooting for. Like it feels so wrong. But what other like AI company can you root for anymore? But yeah, a lot of people are saying that these ads are pretty much telling you that we are living in a giant bubble and it's about to burst. People are even relating it back to the like 2000s before the dot-com bubble burst, how all the Super Bowl ads were all just about like the internet and like web companies. Let me know what you think in the description. Which was the worst ad in your opinion and also the best one? I'm literally not going to be able to monetize this video because simply I'm using all this copyrighted material, so your support matters so much. I'll see you guys in the next video.